We have come from slavery, so therefore we shall always remain slaves. We have lived under the lie of the oppressor, under the lie of the enemy. That's why there is no true breakthrough. Hi guys, I'm so glad to be on here. There has been a lot going on, guys, and I wish that I could literally pop out these videos. I'm going to update you guys. There's a couple of videos that I want to follow up on and talk about. So if you see the next video and I'm looking like this, don't worry, okay, just focus on the topic. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what's been updated in regards to George Floyd's murder. Also, I'm going to address Candace Owens, some of the things that she said in her video. If you don't know who she is an American activist. She's a conservative activist, and she did a video, an unpopular opinion, how she does not support George Floyd. George Floyd is a very bad man. Police brutality is a myth. So I'm going to address a couple of some of these points that she made out, and yeah, we are going to talk also about, has any of the protesting had any changes or any impacts? So we're going to cover all of those areas, so please stay tuned, like, comment and subscribe, and let's jump right into the video. Okay, so firstly, let's have a look at the update with the murders of George Floyd, and what has been the charges, and what are they faced with. So we are aware that they have definitely been arrested and they have been charged, and there has been some new charges that has been announced, which I think is progress. You know, it's definitely progress, because whoa, people do get away with these things, and you know, we can only thank God that some kind of justice is being served. And you know, it doesn't mean that we stop right there, but it does mean that our voices are being heard. Derek Chauvin, which is the man that actually killed that actually murdered George Floyd, has been elevated to second-degree murder. First of all, he was going to be charged with third-degree murder, which was absolutely diabolical and disgusting if that was the case. Second and first degree murder has a difference of 15 years, so he's looking about 50 years imprisonment, and the difference between first degree and second degree murder is first degree murder is it's premeditated. So you have planned this, you know, you have premeditated this, and you have maybe been like stalking the person, and you have, this has been plotted and plotted. So I think that's why he didn't get first degree, but however, second degree, it's still intent to kill, which I believe that that's what he did intend to kill him. The man was there with his hands in his pocket or his hips or whatever, and he had the most unresponsive, devilish look in his eyes. You know, he could see that he was being filmed, but he did not care. So he definitely did have an intent to murder this man. So I think that is the right you know, that's the right degree for him. Mate, lock him up and throw away the key, that's what I say. Okay, so the three other officers that were also involved, which at first were not arrested, have now been arrested, which is good. The three officers previously uncharged face counts of aiding and abetting murder. So this is a significant step for us moving forward. This has, as we know, erupted protest after protest all over the world. You know, just the same way pandemic came, just the same way that the virus came and literally swooped over the world, the same way that the life of this man did. At this point, we can definitely see that we are on the road to justice. So many people are speaking out, so many voices are being heard, and you know, from big people to just normal people like ourselves, you know, we are literally being heard, and there is change and reformation going on, and that is what, you know, and I believe that there is a purpose to all of this. You know, I want to just get on to what this Candace Owens lady says.
Why are we pretending that this criminal should be upheld as a citizen, as a martyr in Black America? A martyr for a fake narrative, by the way. Police brutality, racially motivated police brutality is a myth. Okay, so let's get into that. Not only are we using this death, right, and allowing it to cause these riots and protests, pretending this was some upstanding citizen in the black community who was tackled down and killed for no reason, right? Not only are we allowing it to inspire riots in which black people...
First of all, I think it's absolutely disrespectful. I think it's very inconsiderate and insensitive for you to speak about a man and bring his whole past, and the man, he's not here. He's not here to fend for himself. He's not here to reply to your to everything that you've said. And also, you know, he has children. He has a daughter who will one day maybe come across your video, and all you've done is bash the man. We have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, okay? We were all born into sin, so we have a past. It may not be that you pointed a gun at a woman's belly. It may not be that you robbed this. It may not be that you took drugs. We all have a past. The fact that you want to bring up a video about a man's past and you miss out the 5-year gap that he was clean, and also you miss out the part that the work that he actually did, you know, with the young people when he was trying to get his life straight. The fact that you miss all of that is very concerning. Everybody down in her comments, you know, praising her, saying how she's a strong woman, saying how she speaks her mind, is absolutely a load of rubbish, okay, in the most polite way. Nobody has been standing saying that George Floyd was a perfect man. Nobody has been saying that he is a hero, okay? The only video that showed him to be heroic was of his daughter saying that my father have changed the world, and she was speaking straight back. You cannot stand there, watch a man be murdered in front of your very own eyes. You can see him literally begging and crying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, and the officer is just there with the smirk on his face, with this devilish look in his eyes, and you want to come on camera and be like, oh well, look what I found about George Floyd. In 1996 he did this, in 1997 he did that, in 19 blah 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 he did that. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And for you to stand there as a black woman and say that police brutality is not real, you clearly have not educated yourself enough in what has been going on to know that it is real. You want to talk about the political aspect of things. I think what you have done is very political, actually. I think what has driven your video has come from a political point of view. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I think that video was absolutely disgusting, and nothing. Listen, from when the lady started speaking, I already tuned off. There's nothing there that made me feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't know he was a criminal. Oh my gosh, because it's not about George Floyd, okay? It's about what he represents. It's about that 8 minutes that he died, that 8 minutes that we saw, or however long that video was. That's what that represents. That's what it's about, not the person. We're not lifting, we're not exalting George Floyd. God works in mysterious ways, and it took that action for the world to be shaken, because that action carried the purpose, and the purpose of it shall be fulfilled, regardless to whether he pointed a gun at his, or regardless to whether, you know, he was high and he tried to use a fake bill, blah 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 blah. Nobody cares about that. Let's move on to the positive things. Has this protesting made change? 100% it is making change. You know, a lot of people are condemning, a lot of people are you know, saying, oh, this is not the way forward, and blah 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 blah. What is the way forward? The Bible says, cry out and spare not. Okay, we need to speak the truth. The truth is what is going to set us free. The reason why we are not set free as black people is because we have forever lived a life where we have been submitted under the lies of the oppressor, under the lies of the enemy, telling us that this is where we can only reach to. We can't go above this, you know, we can't go any higher. We can't go to Oxford because we're not smart enough. We can't go to Cambridge because we're not smart enough. You know, we have come from slavery, so therefore we shall always remain slaves. We have lived under the lie of the oppressor, under the lie of the enemy. That's why there is no true breakthrough. But breakthrough is coming. Why? Because we are finally opening our mouths to speak. Okay, the Bible says, declare a thing and it shall be established. Speak those things that are not as though they are. That's what we are doing. God has given us a voice to speak, so we are speaking. So regardless to whether you feel like it's too much or it's not enough or we are being too extra, that is your opinion. If you are a black person and you feel like, oh, I'm just going to be silent, then you are clearly missing the message. Let's have a look at some of the changes that's already been happening. First of all, there are many cases that were dropped. Minneapolis bans chokeholds by police and will now require officers to intervene against unauthorized use of force. Ahmaud Arbery case. Enough evidence to try 3 men for the murder of Arbery Ahmaud. Roddy Bryan is charged with felony murder and attempted false imprisonment. Sorry about that, guys. My light completely went dark, boy. Do you know how long it took for that? And because we have been speaking out, there is reformation, there is change. Now, that case, there will be justice for that man because he was unlawfully killed. He did not deserve to die. He did not deserve to be killed. Why were these men walking free? Because they thought that they can get away with it. But now each system is being challenged. Systems are being challenged. Laws are being challenged. And who are challenging these laws? Our voices are challenging these laws. Breonna Taylor, the police pushed through her door. They shot her 8 times and she died. But eventually they closed the case. Now with the protests going on and the cry for justice, they have now reopened the case. Okay, and they will be investigating this further. Had these protests not gone on, then they would have closed the case and it would have been a done deal. So these are just a few examples of things that are happening, things that are being changed, and the justice that is literally being considered because our voices are being heard. The point that I want to make is that our voices are being heard. People are speaking out, okay, and there is change happening. Now people want to say, oh, why did it have to take this to happen for black people to start doing this or for black people to start doing that? Well, sometimes, you know, it has to take something to shake the world. It is what it is. We just love to complain sometimes. Sometimes it's like, you know what, just don't complain and just be appreciative that something is being done. Now what we need to remember is that there is a difference between looters and there is a difference between protesters. There is a difference between those that are seeking vengeance and there is a difference between those that are seeking justice. We're not here crying out for vengeance. We don't want vengeance. We want justice. As black people have suffered and suffered and suffered, and if you don't understand this because you feel like, you know, you are in this 21st century, you feel like you've not really been affected, you have it all patterned up and you have this privilege, then that is great for you. But guess what? It is happening here in the UK and it is happening in the US, and I am glad for the protesting and I am 100% with it. And can I just lastly add, yeah, when Hancock, okay, came in and did his speech saying about, oh, you know, we still have a pandemic going on, and I urge people, do not participate in this protest because you need to think about lives. You know, I understand that you are upset. Man said you are upset. You just need to sit down, okay? You just need to go back to your meetings and do what you gotta do and just sit down. Like, don't even talk, don't say nothing, just keep quiet and just sit down. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. And that's all I have to say. Oh, thank you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.